preemptions of the course of the baseball season, and I don't imagine that will stop once the Cavs kick in. So when we can bring you 2 hours of metal, we do it. Me and Pat Butler and Corey Roddick in here doing it up. Got a lot of texts from people in the break since we talked to Richard about that that fetish spot on the east side. And I like that BDSM. I like that dungeon has an intro video like you're a trainee at the Olive Garden. That's my favorite part.
So you want to put things in your penis?
Something like that. Along those lines, probably.
I guess I'm just a boring gay.
And there's nothing wrong with that. That's why I'm saying I'm glad that these swashbucklers are out there doing this stuff.
I'm going to keep it to foursomes on my pool table, thank you very much, the way God intended.
Like old-fashioned, just come to my apartment and get an old-fashioned sloppy. Like that's
There's nothing wrong with meat and potatoes sex, by the way. Nothing wrong with that at all. It's not.
But if you say meat and potato sex to them, they're actually bringing meat and potatoes.
Where does the potato go?
You don't
dealer's choice.
Yeah.
No, but for some people, that's not enough. For some people, they get bored easily. Or listen, your brain tells you what you like. You don't know. Your brain told you like dudes.
I'm still fighting.
Poundcake, same with you.
You're still fighting it?
Well, because that thing Bill sent me, like I was telling my friend, I was like, I hate my taste in men. I hate my taste in men.
The thing I sent this morning.
Yeah.
It was the
Pocahontas, like, oh, these men are dangerous, and then it's also me laying down with a white man.
Well,
and I'm just like, I hate my taste in men. It goes against everything that I stand for.
But you are biracial. It's not like you're a black dude who only likes white guys.
I know, but it still feels.
And even that, who cares?
But it would be one thing if it was even. Like I've been, for every white man I've been with, well, no, I don't even know how I'm gonna do this fraction, but I would say I've been
carefully
with maybe a handful, maybe 5 black men, like black men.
Well, that's more than Alan and I have been with.
Bill,
so
please speak for yourself.
When I had to take off my shoes to count all the white men that I've been with. So the deck is not.
You're gonna have to take a lot of people's shoes off for that.
Yeah.
I want my number back. I want to know. Like, I miss not knowing my number.
We'll go through them again.
I couldn't. There are a lot of them. I don't even know their names.
Oh,
yeah, but you still know.
You remember.
There's some identifier that you can be like, there was this time. You can't remember.
4 years in college. No, I cannot remember all of those.
Okay.
No, I don't. It's not that I blacked out, but it's just it just you go through a phase where stuff is just like uneventful to you. It just was going through the motions. It was
just another day.
Yeah, just like you shave, just like you go to the gym. Like I don't remember a particular time where I hooked up with a person. It wasn't until someone pops up on like my Facebook feed or something or Instagram. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm glad to see him doing well. Like I'm glad he got that mole removed because I like
How do you know he had it was on his face or in a nether region?
It was like underneath his clothes. Like when.
Well, how do you know he got it removed? Oh, you mean it's a picture where the mole used to be?
Yeah.
He's showing off his removal.
Not even showing off his removal, but he's like on the beach. And I'm just like, oh yeah, I remember I was so worried. I was like, oh, you need to get that checked out after we got busy, of course. I'm like, you should probably get this mole checked out.
And what's interesting too, or maybe a little weird, think of all the people who have forgotten about doing it with you.
Right.
Any one of us. Think about the people who don't remember having sex with us. I'm pretty good with remembering. If I had to really sit down and put pen to paper, I think I could crank it out. But there's going to be people you're not going to remember.
I will say.
Or something will jog your memory and you'll go, oh my God.
That's happened.
I completely,
I think I have a little bit more leeway because, with the exception of me tasting the city and the various places I visited, most of my hookups are in Northeast Ohio. So at some point, I have to grapple with the fact that someone is in their car right now. Like, I slept with that guy. I slept with that guy in college. Or they remember a spot where they saw me and we hooked up. So all of my hookups are around here.
Yeah, I don't have anything like that.
Yeah, you don't have to deal with that.
But I've told the story.
All mine are listeners, so
Well, mine weren't listeners, and they became.
They all meet each other on boats and stuff.
They probably didn't even know I was on the radio. They probably didn't even like follow me, and then they're like, "This guy's voice sounds really familiar. Sounds like I kicked him out of the bed before."
Well, to your point about
me up.
seeing people happy and doing well or whatever, I just randomly, and I've told the story just briefly here on the show before about dating this girl who had been in the Army. And we were at a club or something and leaving, and very playfully we were kind of arguing with each other in the parking lot, and we're drunk. And she picks me up and throws me on the hood of this car. And I said it was one of the hottest things that has ever happened to me. And just randomly, that thought crossed my mind during the course of a show. And I go, hey, I wonder how she's doing. Dead.
Ooh.
She's dead.
Ugh.
So I'm like, well, so she's not doing great.
I only have a couple of my hookups that are dead.
Yeah,
That I remember. Like the one who took my bottom virginity. It's not funny. He died. So
It is. Don't tell me what's not funny. I'll tell you what's funny.
It's not
That's funny.
Wait, how long after he?
30 seconds.
Yeah, he didn't do you and then be like, I gotta go.
No.
Okay.
This was
He
years,
jumped off a bridge.
This was years later.
Yeah.
It's like, and now I'm the bottom.
But it's kind of weird because you're like, wow. Oh, and then there was another person that I was the last person they slept with before they passed. That was crazy to me. So I only know 2 for sure.
Poundcake's like, I didn't get anybody else after me. Went to the grave.
Just saying. I just saw something. I don't mean to get us off topic, but I just saw something, and this would be a topic that I would be so pissed about. A spouse had sex with his friend. She had cancer. She was on her deathbed, and she wanted to sleep with.
Oh, yeah, this was a Reddit thing
Okay.
that was going around a couple of weeks ago.
Okay, wait, what was it?
This guy goes, it was an Am I the A-hole thing.
Mm-hmm.
This guy said, my wife, I thought it was made up. I thought we
thought it was
talked about
made
it
too.
here briefly. I go, there's no way this is real. But the guy said, my wife is on her deathbed. She got cancer or something, and she wants to have sex one more time with her college boyfriend, who she said was the greatest she ever had. I'm like, there's no way this is real. Like, if you're on your deathbed, you're looking at your life partner and you're going, you know what I'd really like, honey? To have sex with Randy one more time.
And you know it was real good.
Right. So, but everybody obviously threw in and everybody had their opinions and everything. But yeah, that went around for a minute a couple of weeks ago.
How would you feel, though? The dude's dead, so you can't.
I think we did talk about
I'd
it.
kill my wife.
I'm pretty sure we did talk about it here, or I think Stansbury and I actually talked about it. Maybe not here, but I think he and I talked about it in his show.
Is that cheating respectfully?
I was like, if that's what she wants, give it to her. Like, she's going to die. You're going to run around and do whatever you want to do after.
Right.
You let her do it. Yeah, who cares?
You got to get, but what if you're the college boyfriend? You're like, oh.
Well, that was
Yeah.
that's why I thought it was made up. I'm like, first of all, even if you find this guy,
I mean, he's
provided
gonna
they're
want
not
it?
still in
Yeah.
contact, it's not like he's going to look at the husband and go, okay, I guess I'll have sex with your,
I'm gonna
cancer-stricken wife.
I'm like, listen, lady, it's called Make a Wish, but within reason. You're not gonna have sex with a dude while you're married to me. It's just not about to happen.
Yeah. Alan, don't say anything, but all of my hookups are dead. Oh, no. Oh, that can't be.
Can I schedule you for one, like in 50 years?
Oh, that
you,
can't
you
be
can
good.
Kevorkian me.
Yeah. Al and I work in a hospital lab, and one of my coworkers goes to the club, goes to the Academy for Fetish Arts. First day I worked with her, she told me all about her experiences there. She likes getting tied up and having the crap beaten out of her. Yeah, listen, you can never account for what's in people's brains that tells them you like this and this is something. And there's something to be said for pushing the boundaries. I think that's always a good thing, too. And, you find something you like. But that would not be for me, boy.
No.
That's not for me, boy.
Because I get defensive. Like, I got trauma.
Just,
You're not about to hit me and beat me and just, hold me down, put my face in the dirt. Like, I'm degraded enough by life. You're not about to do it in my intimate moments.
Alan, I went to that fetish club in Pittsburgh. 3 women gave me a golden triangle.
I don't know what that is.
I thought it
imagine
was
it's pee-pee.
but I thought a golden triangle was just an old school daisy chain.
Let's see.
It's usually 3 people, and everybody's got somebody else in their mouth.
Oh, looks like Thailand.
That's what I thought it was.
Here
but
I was thinking the pie guy was extreme, and these guys
the
are...
pie guy. No, listen, I'm happy people are out there doing stuff, and it's informative, it's entertaining, and that's all we're here for. We do have bureau chiefs all throughout North America. If you listen to this show on the iHeartRadio app, you can see the map behind me, which was removed from this room over the weekend, I might add. Was none too pleased about that, but I got it back.
Okay, so I'm getting a few different things. Golden Triangle is either 3 participants, male or female, in which each participant is doing mouth stuff.
Yep.
But then there's another one. Where is it?
I thought it was just
It's
a
where you
daisy chain. I thought it was just a...
Yeah. When a woman puts the Frank and beans
twig
in her
and
mouth,
berries, yeah.
And then does a triangle around it.
There you go. James, one of our bureau chiefs in Tampa. Sean's in Indianapolis. Braley's in Denver. Alex is in San Francisco listening. And Scott, I believe, is our single bureau chief in Casper, Wyoming. And I was reading about something that was going on. He didn't send me the story. Something going on out there in Casper, Wyoming, where they are facing, the people who live in the town are facing an unprecedented crisis of homeless feces.
The poop doesn't have a home?
Unhoused feces, please.
I'm sorry. Unsheltered fecal matter. Casper, Wyoming has been overrun with an unprecedented homeless population. It destroyed a vacant motel and has left hundreds of pounds of feces. Hundreds. The mayor said there were about 200 homeless people in Casper, Wyoming. How did they all get there? Casper, Wyoming,
now,
of all places.
You want to go back to a South Park episode. This is exactly what happened. There was a bunch of homeless people in San Francisco and San Diego. They all got them on a bus, and they were like, this state's really cool, and they just drop them off, hundreds of them. So they literally take them to other parts. They just relocate the homeless. They don't home them.
Well, yeah, that's what DeSantis and Greg Abbott were doing with people coming across the border. Like, hey, put them on a bus. They lie to them, tell them that they're wherever they go, you're gonna have a mansion, and you're gonna have free hibachi at your desk.
So I think that's exactly
all the Google perks, and then they get to New York and they just dump them at the Port Authority.
Yep, that's exactly what happened. That's how all the homeless people got there, because there's not even that big of a population in Casper.
But that's what I'm saying. Casper, Wyoming. I mean, how are they even out there? So anyway, they said that these people trashed the Econo Lodge Motel. Homeless people who had been squatting caused more damage than the flooding that initially closed the motel down. It had been condemned by the city, so people were squatting there. And they have homeless people squatting all over the place, I guess. You know, Casper, they say it's one of the largest cities in Wyoming, but even that, it's about 50,000 people in Casper. It's not a giant town. But the entire state of Wyoming has fewer than 1 million people in it, I think.
That's insane to me.
So the mayor and the city staff said that they had scooped up about 500 pounds of human feces in Casper's downtown.
Give it to the farmers.
What's that?
Give it to the farmers.
For fertilizer?
What else
Maybe they are.
Okay.
Maybe they are.
Get help.
Yeah. So I don't know. Nobody's got a good answer to this stuff. But no, I'm sorry, Poundcake. I should have been clear. It's not the feces that was homeless. It was the and then everybody by now has seen the photo of the diarrhea plane.
I saw it and looked away before I saw anything because it's too gross.
I didn't see it.
Bad.
So somebody apparently had full-on diarrhea on a plane, and they had to land the plane or turn it around or something because the pilot is like, yeah, we've got a full-on biohazard situation here.
We don't want
and I need to turn this plane around because this was from Atlanta to Barcelona. This was going to be an international flight on Delta, and they had to turn it around.
Negative. It's just a biohazard issue. We've had a passenger who had diarrhea all the way through the airplane, so they want us to come back to Atlanta.
How bad?
Diarrhea. I'll show you the photo. Somebody who was deplaning. Now they make it sound like the thing everybody's dripping like Willy Wonka in the chocolate factory on this plane. Somebody definitely had an issue because there's a bunch of the person who filmed this video. There's a bunch of like towels down the main aisle that are clearly very, very brown.
And you can't even complain about like the service, like, oh, this would only happen on Spirit or something. Like this is
no. There were two women on Air Canada who got kicked off because they complained they didn't want to sit in seats that had been vomited on. See, this is what air travel is now.
It's air taxi.
Is you get pulled off and yelled at if you won't sit in a seat that had vomit on it. That's basically where the airlines are now. That was Air Canada. And these guys are like, yeah, we got a guy, diarrhea. And so we've got to. Here, I'll show you some of the video here, the guy walking through.
Yeah, this is about as
It's the
far as
middle
I made
aisle
it.
and
I made it about that 2 seconds in. I was just like, no.
It repeats a couple of times, but there's like
It starts getting browner and browner.
browner and browner.
Mhm.
That's right. And then they do the slow-mo, and you can kind of see, they got all of these pads there in the middle aisle. Look at that one there.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, I
Somebody had a
understand
hell of a time.
I understand it's gross, but how bad would you feel if you were the person who had diarrhea?
Oh, you'd feel
All
terrible.
of us have
Terrible,
had
yeah.
diarrhea at some point or another, and obviously you can't control it. So this is
But what's happening to you that, like, this is you on a
Airport
plane?
Food. Someone who probably doesn't fly that often.
Airport
Something.
food. This is something that happens to you everywhere you go if this is
No
what's
way.
happening.
No, I think this is probably somebody that was drinking a bunch and then probably had the.
Got a blimpy or something.
Why you got to
the
hate on
blimpy
blimpies?
I'm not. I had blimpy when I went to the airport. But there's
God, who knew there were still blimpies? Jesus.
I think there's only some in the airport, and that's what I like to do.
There used to be one when we lived in Ohio City. There was a blimpie there on 25th. Blimpie.
Oh, I remember that
Wow.
one.
I like to go to restaurants that you can't normally get anywhere else. So this would be the perfect situation for that because I would be drunk, like, oh, I'm going to Spain. I can't wait. And then I get my blimpie and, the mayo and whatever I just drank is not hitting right and diarrhea. And I deplane.
Sometimes we have shows where we talk about food a lot, and I'm like, man, I am so hungry.
This is not one of those
Today's
Not one of those
episode
shows.
is the absolute opposite. Not one thing has been appealing that we've talked about at all.
Yeah. Blimpie. What a dive there. Like Qdoba. Is Qdoba still around? Remember
Some places.
Qdoba?
Not around here.
All right. Let me take a break. I'll have those Chris Tucker tickets for you later on, a little bit closer to 5:20. Chris Tucker is back on the road, first time in a while. And he's going to play Playhouse Square, in fact. Chris Tucker at the State Theater on October the 12th. We'll do those later on.